the easy comparison is the thief of joy, as C.S. Lewis said, and looking around and watching the kids I went to high school with or the kids I'm in college with now, and they seem to get all of these friendships so easily and all these connections, and they have all of these life goals and career things, and they got this great internship, and all of these things are working out for them. And I've just been kind of sitting there like, well, that's great. Like, I love cheering people on, but it's like, this isn't happening for me. And so being able to just sit back and remember that even though it may not be happening for me, that it's great that it's happening for others. But, and yeah, comparison is a thief of joy. And I don't ever want to be so lost in that I don't am able to rejoice in the fact that I think what I've learned, a couple of things, but one of the biggest ones is that I will never know. I will never know all of the answers. I'm never going to have everything all figured out, ironed clean, just the way I'd like it to. My the pastor church I go to the other like a couple weeks ago, like preaching sermon, like you forget like we're just bags of dirt that God breathed life into. Like there's so many things that we're never going to know. We're never gonna be able to understand everything, and it's a little foolish and arrogant of us to think that, oh yes, one day God's gonna audibly speak to me, lay out this grand plan for my life, and I'll get to know everything. And yeah, this year has just taught me that I will never know what's gonna happen, and that's such a good thing. And if I would have known all the things that would have happened, I would not have had the courage or the confidence to start because I would have been so overwhelmed. And just how he's wise enough and kind enough to not tell us everything, so that we feel comfortable enough to start, and so then we can experience all those great things that we want to get to if you're so scared of knowing. My name is Dylan Vanderleest. I am 19. I just got done with my first year at college, Grand Canyon University, in Phoenix. But I'm from and currently in Boise, Idaho. I have been a Christian. I grew up in a Christian home, so really, since I can remember, I've never been a time when I haven't known who Jesus was or what he did. Um, but I would say, yeah, been a Christian for always. Really started to take more ownership of it in high school, but and always and ever known who Jesus is.
Awesome. And can you share a time God revealed something in his word or in your heart that he wanted you to be obedient to?
Yeah, I think so. I just got done with my first year of college. Really, and this whole year has been an example and a testing of both of my faith and of my obedience to him. I went to college not really knowing anyone, not really knowing what to expect, just kind of diving into it. And it has been a learning experience of being in a season of waiting and what that looks like, both in regards to friendships and not really knowing. I've never been a person who has like a dramatic life goal. And so not really knowing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, what I see for myself really after college. So really been a season of waiting and learning and trusting in God. And he says he provides and that he has all the things. And so waiting for that to happen and being able to learn and into the waiting.
So it's been an invitation for you to just be patient and wait on him for what's next.
Yeah. And then I have been going through the whole Bible this year. I started in January, like reading the whole Bible in a year. And I've just finished this section, actually, well, a bit ago, but when Moses is dying and he's saying to the Israelites, like, don't forget the good things and don't forget the good things. And I, time and time again, remember, like, when the Israelites forget the good things, forget what God's done for them, that's when they're tempted and led into sin. And so just being able to remember and remind myself of all of the good things that God has done, both in my life and the lives of everyone I know. And even though it feels like I'm not really doing anything, but I'm just kind of sitting here waiting that there's still good things ahead of me and there's still good things behind me, and God is still just as present, even when there's all these dramatic things.
And when did you realize that Jesus was calling you into this patience that he's asked you to walk in right now in this season?
Um, I I couldn't tell you the date or the time, but it has been one of those things of I should know when I want to go to college, and I know I want to be able to help and serve people. For the longest time, I thought about doing something either in foster care or with working in refugee community. And so being like, well, okay, like, I need certification for that. I need to be able to have more than a high school diploma to do those things. And so kind of taking that next step of, so then I guess that's college, and then figuring out exactly what comes after that. So hasn't been so much a specific day and time, so much as a gradual realization of, okay, this is the next logical step, and then just being patient. So basically this whole year, I guess, ever since I got my
Yeah.
offer for college, August 25, basically since then.
Okay. And what kind of challenges and struggles have you felt like you've run into as you've worked through that experience, or answered that call to just walk in patience and trust in him? Have there been things that have been difficult that have come up that have challenged that call to obedience?
Yes, definitely. I'm sure this is not a first time you're hearing this, but the easy comparison is the thief of joy, as C.S. Lewis said, and looking around and watching the kids I went to high school with or the kids I'm in college with now, and they seem to get all of these friendships so easily and all of these connections, and they have all of these life goals and career things, and they got this great internship, and all of these things are working out for them. And I've just been kind of sitting there like, well, that's great. Like, I love cheering people on, but it's like, this isn't happening for me. And so being able to just sit back and remember that even though it may not be happening for me, that it's great that it's happening for others. But, and yeah, comparison is a thief of joy. And I don't ever want to be so lost in that I don't, I'm not able to rejoice in what God has done for me. So that has been one of the biggest challenges this year is watching what happens to other people and then when it doesn't happen to myself, being able to be so content in that. But two of the really great things that have come out of this season of reading and obedience. One is I found a really great church back in Phoenix that I've been able to get connected in. I know fit and you've been married, and that has been just fantastic. And then the other one is I recently got this really cool leadership position for the fall next year, to work with a couple of different refugee families, helping them adjust to life in America. And that has just been, in and of itself, a total answer to prayer and not what I expected and how I ended up there. But it has just been a really cool way to see how God is faithful. So, good thing, bad thing, a little bit of both.
Yeah. So as you started walking in obedience to his call to just walk in patience during the season,
Different.
those are some of the things where he's showed up and kind of revealed that he does have things under control.
Yeah, even if it takes 9 months for me to see what exactly is happening, when I left for college, I was like, I don't really know. And then I got there and I was like, I still don't really know. And after the first year, I still don't really know everything, but it's been cool to see how his hand has been present in some of it that I've gotten to do.
Yeah. Did you feel like obedience cost you anything throughout this circumstance?
Um, I would say it cost me, um, it didn't ever feel high school in a lot of ways felt really comfortable and really easy. I went to a really tiny high school. My graduating class, there was 50 kids, and I had known all of them since I was about 7. And so I was like really comfortable, really easy. Yeah, I lived with my parents, everything was taken care of. And then going to college in a different state. I don't know if you've ever been to Phoenix, but Phoenix, and especially where my part of town where my college is, there's a lot of things that are very different in the city, and just seeing homeless people day to day, and there's so much concrete and it's so hot. And all of these things are just like, this is not what I'm comfortable, this is not familiar to me. And so it definitely felt like, yeah, ease and comfort went away when I was faithful. But you know, comes with cost.
Yeah. But he's revealed himself and shown himself to,
Yeah.
Christ has shown himself to show up even in the midst of those difficulties and challenges.
For sure.
Hmm. What have you learned? What do you feel like you've learned through this process?
I think what I've learned, a couple of things, but one of the biggest ones is that I will never know. I will never know all of the answers. I'm never going to have everything all figured out, ironed clean, just the way I'd like it to. My the passion trip I go to the other like a couple weeks ago, like freaking sermon, like you forget like we're just bags of dirt that God breathed life into. Like there's so many things that we're never going to know. We're never gonna be able to understand everything, and it's a little foolish and arrogant of us to think that, oh yes, one day God's gonna audibly speak to me, lay out this grand plan for my life, and I'll get to know everything. And yeah, this year has just taught me that I will never know what's gonna happen, and that's such a good thing. And if I would have known all the things that would have happened, I would not have had the courage or the confidence to start because I would have been so overwhelmed. And just how he is wise enough and kind enough to not tell us everything, so that we feel comfortable enough to start, and so then we can experience all those great things that we want to get to if you're so scared of knowing. So yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
one of the biggest things I've learned.
To just trust him in the moment by
Mhm.
moment, in the day to day, and not worry about too much into the future.
Yeah, and letting go of the expectation that at some point in time I will know everything and I will know what my next 5 years of my life looks like. Because that's just not a realistic expectation and not really one that Jesus ever promises. Like he says he will take care of us and he will clothe us as he clothes the lilies, but he never says, and then I'll tell you what your life looks like forever. So just learning how best to experience that.
Yeah. So, how is your life different, or how are you going to take what you've learned and apply it moving forward now that you've walked in obedience in this area, and this call to just be patient in this season, even though it has come with challenges and struggles and difficulties.
I think the biggest thing is just keep showing up and keep being faithful. I so when I left for college in August, my remember my parents being like, "Oh, like maybe you won't be here next summer. Like maybe you'll go off and do a job." And I was like, "Oh no way! Like I'm coming back to Idaho the second I possibly can. No way, Jose." And then I turns out I'm gonna be going to Alaska this summer to work in a fish cannery with a friend I met from college, to make a bunch of money so I can pay for a car to drive down there to Phoenix. And so just continuing to just take that next step and be like, okay, like I am just going to be faithful and just show up for the next day and say yes to the things God puts in front of me and not say no out of fear, but also no, I'm not going to know the answers and just keep taking the next step. And if that's Phoenix or Alaska or I don't know, somewhere else, Belgium, like just being faithful to whatever God has. So just taking the next day, one day at a time.
That's so cool. Well, thanks so much, Dylan, for sharing your story,
Yes,
and
hopefully this is helpful in some way, shape, or
yeah,
form.
this is awesome. We appreciate you just sharing and testifying of what God's doing in your heart and in this season. It's been
Yeah.
cool. It's cool to see you walk in that obedience, even though it comes with challenges and struggles and difficulties.
Yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you and my dad in some way. But yeah, hopefully your daughter
Yeah.
gets better and enjoys Cinderella.
Thanks.